So yesterday we got the patch notes for the Korean server for Throne and Liberty, and well, they've actually updated them since then, adding a ton of balance changes for the different weapons, including a pretty important fix to Thunderclad bombing and a balance adjustment to the Della's Noah daggers. People are getting sick and tired of being petrified all the time. And otherwise, there are a few other notable changes, along with a lot of monster damage value adjustments for a ton of weapon skills. So let's go through the details. For us on Global, we'll most likely get all these changes this following Thursday, but it's not yet confirmed. Wait till tomorrow when we get our official patch notes. But these details were updated just earlier today. Thank you to this guy for pointing it out to me. You can see their revisions here, how they've done some skill adjustments along with balancing. This comes with all the other things we've already mentioned in our previous video, like battlegrounds coming to war games, the adjustments to Tower of Greed, the housing, some new furniture you'll be able to craft, Amateur Expedition updates, along with randomizing some fashion, new lithograph entries, and here we go. We get, for the Greatsword, just a quick adjustment here, and then we can see the start of these monster damage value adjustments. I assume this is simply to make it so that the skill feels more impactful when you upgrade it. On the maximum level, it's still going to be no different. So literally just for a more of a progression thing. It's going to start out dealing significantly less damage, but if you upgrade it, you'll feel those upgrades to be a lot more impactful now with this change. So that's across a lot of these different skills. Again, at the end game level where we all have max skills, this makes absolutely no difference. But then we look here for the Dagger. They've gone and changed that brutal incision with the thundering bomb spec. No longer will it be so broken with the scaling of bonus damage. They state it as fixing an issue where it was affected by additional damage per stack. So it was indeed a bug, and even though people were claiming it worked like this since the beginning of time, all along it was indeed a bug and shouldn't have worked like this. And it's only become really noticeable since our bonus damage levels have basically been doubled, if not tripled, with the recent bonus damage rework, where it no longer is affecting a lot of these multi-hit abilities. So what this means here is they've gone and changed up the description a bit, adding that clause, no additional effects from Thunderclad's additional damage are applied. So bonus damage will not affect it more than once. This is then correct compared to what we had before, where normally it should have dealt, in this example, 11,000 damage, but it was in fact dealing upwards of 24,000 damage, because all this bonus damage was getting multiplied 21 times for every single stack of lightning infusion that you had on the target. And I had tested this extensively per stack, and it was scaling properly, and what that meant was you were dealing over double the normal amount of damage you should have done with this skill. And to make matters worse is that damage was barely being able to be mitigated by any normal player, because the only counter was damage reduction, which meant people could go around and nuke you if you didn't have damage reduction with this, because that bonus damage being multiplied by 21 times meant it would ignore all your other defenses bar evasion. To put this into perspective, again, that same example, you should be dealing like 11,000 damage with this ability, but you were actually dealing 24,000. Now we go into PvP. Say our target has 3,500 defense. We're now hitting only just over 5,000 damage against them. But with this broken bonus damage scaling, you are still dealing over 18,000 damage, which is over 3.5 times more damage against them. But now with this new change, you will see that's quite a bit different. It isn't a full nerf down to just over 5,000 damage. It's more like down to 7,000, 6,800 in this exact example. And that's because they are increasing the raw values of this skill. This is to compensate a little bit with that scaling, particularly I believe for PvE. So we've gone from that 43% plus 14 to 58% plus 19. But still, overall, you will deal a massive amount less damage, particularly in PvP with this skill. They've also gone and boosted the back attack damage, as you see here, from 107% to 125%, along with the base damage from 213% to 250%. You won't notice that much in PvP, but in PvE, the back attack now got 11% boost and the base hit over 13% boost. But in PvP, this is totally going to be felt like a big nerf. You won't be going around dealing obscene amounts of unmitigatable damage, nuking anybody who doesn't have damage reduction. So all around, that's a great change in terms of PvP balancing. But in addition to that, what a lot of people have been complaining about as of late is the petrification from the daggers. It's a little bit confusing to me because the daggers have always worked like that. It's nothing surprising. But the thing is, it's all of a sudden become a meta for everybody possible to use this. So they are. And it seems a little bit broken because this is going to petrify you every half second while you're within there, causing you to basically not be able to escape even if you have petrification resistance or debuff duration, which should reduce the time that you are petrified, allowing you the potential to escape from the area. But no, this is so oppressive right now, you're able to easily lock down control points, causing your enemies to basically not be able to do anything. They're left helpless, petrified for the full duration. And the daggers also reduce the cooldown of the smoke screen, along with you being able to use specializations to reduce it even further. And yeah, it became a kind of meta thing. Everybody's using it and it just felt horrible. Therefore, a lot of people were complaining and the devs have implemented this change. Now it will basically petrify you every second rather than every half second. This is the freezing cycle. That should give you a little bit more time to be able to get out of the area before getting petrified again. By looking at some further changes here, we can see just more monster damage adjustments, scaling so that it's a lower amount at the lower levels, but no effect at the highest level. Same here and here, along with here. Pretty much everywhere where you have monster damage bonus will now scale depending on the level of the skill. For your longbow, I believe they fixed your whirlpool here. It will properly last 6 seconds as stated in the tooltip rather than just 3. And then for staff, they're interestingly capping the amount of defense you can gain up to 3,500. This I believe is on the mastery mana shield rather than just gaining a flat boost of 20% plus 15 of your mana. You'll now be limited to a maximum of 3,500 bonus. Moving on, you have your spear. It also has all of those monster damage adjustments, which again will have no effect at the end game level where all your skills are already maxed out. Same for the orb here. And that is about it for all the changes and everything I could see that was updated in the list. Let me know if I missed anything. I believe a bunch of you were hoping for these changes earlier when I covered the patch notes yesterday, so here they are. Dagger is officially getting looked at and nerfed. It won't be nuking you with Thundering Bomb anymore through all of your defensive stats, and it shouldn't be able to petrify you indefinitely with the daggers. There are of course multiple other changes I would like them also to address. One that has popped up recently is the Aragon staff not working properly, along with the fact curse explosions still don't work properly on bosses with extra mitigation. And any of you saying it works properly just does not understand the issue. Yes, the meta right now is stacking Tevin orbs and getting a ton of damage through curse explosion, but that's completely beside the point in terms of field bosses and them having that extra defense. It's only isolated to field bosses, which have that extra mitigation, which was introduced in the summer. But overall, it's good to see the devs are at least acknowledging player feedback and doing some changes. Maybe it just takes a little bit longer to get to the other stuff. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys around.